Well, good afternoon. Hi, Rose. It looks like it's just you and I and Mark here this afternoon. Um, I'm Brian Facey, and I'm going to be doing the session on Twitter. And I'm going to talk about a couple of things. I'm going to talk about the Twitter interface, what Twitter can be used for in the classroom, and then hopefully have an opportunity for you to answer some questions related to the use of Twitter in the classroom. A few things about Twitter that's really important that people know. And first of all, Twitter is referred to as a social networking site, very similar to Facebook and other sites that are out there. And the last that I read, it was about the fifth most popular social networking site that was out there that is in use today. And what Twitter is referred to as is a microblogging site. And when we say microblogging, it involves using 140 characters or less to send a message. And Twitter is really based on, it started as asking questions as to what's going on. And people started talking about what's going on in their life in 140 characters or less. Think of it very similar to text messaging or SMS on your cell phone or on your smartphone. And we're talking about sending messages on Twitter. We refer to those as tweets. So often when you're online and you hear somebody talking about tweets, they're referring to a Twitter message that has been sent that's 140 characters or less. A few things about Twitter. First of all, for the website, if you want to send and receive tweets on the website, you have to generate an account. And I'm going to show you in a few minutes how to go ahead and do that. And that's not very difficult to do. And once you generate an account, that gives you the ability to send and receive tweets via Twitter. And you can set up your account in one of two ways. You can set your account to be private, or you can set your account to be public. If you set your account to be private, what happens is only people that you approve to follow you on Twitter will be able to send you messages and will receive your messages. If you have your account public, that means anybody who has an internet connection will be able to search and they'll be able to see the messages that you post, and they'll also be able to follow you on Twitter without receiving any kind of approval. Now, I have two Twitter accounts. I have a Twitter account that I use for education, and that one's public, so anybody who wants to can follow me. And I also have a personal Twitter account, and my personal Twitter account is private. And that personal Twitter account, what I do is I actually approve who is able to send messages to me and who is able to follow the tweets that I post on Twitter. The other unique thing about Twitter is that you can send direct messages. And direct messages are messages which can be sent directly to one individual or another. For example, I see Rose is here listening. If Rose had a Twitter account and I knew her Twitter name, I could send her a direct Twitter message that only Rose and I would see. The other thing that's unique about Twitter, and it's getting much, much easier to use, is you have the ability or the capacity to embed photos, YouTube videos, and a number of other items that are on. I see Rose just posted what her Twitter handle was. But you can embed photos and videos, which if you're using this in the classroom, or if there's something that you have your students following you on Twitter, you'll be able to post a video saying, you know, watch this video, be prepared to answer questions about it tomorrow, or have a comment. Or if your students have Twitter accounts, they could actually post comments related to a video or an assignment that you might have. Now, Twitter in the classroom, Twitter has the potential to be very, very powerful in the classroom. And you can see from the word cloud that I have up there right now, there's a number of things that you can do. You can be following news in real time. Every major news company now, CBC, the Globe and Mail, CTV, the New York Times, they all have Twitter feeds and Twitter accounts, and they're updating almost every minute. If you follow them, you'll see that you're getting constant updates from around the world. The other thing about Twitter for using the classroom, it can be used as a writing tool. You can have students actually write a topic in 140 characters, and you can check that topic for a sentence structure. You can check that post that they put up or that tweet they put up for grammar. You can take a look at it for what the message is sending. You can also use Twitter as a collaboration tool to collaborate between teachers, between schools. You can use it as a communication device. And you can also utilize it for contacting experts. You can use it for speaking with your parent community Posting homework, that would be the simplest use of Twitter. If you just want to use it for communication with your parents, you could put homework up there. And the other thing that's real cool that you can use Twitter for is giving students a voice in your classroom. You could post a topic, and if your students have Twitter accounts, they could be responding to that topic using what we call a hashtag. And I'm going to show you a hashtag in a few minutes. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to bring up my Twitter feed, and I have two Twitter feeds, and maybe what I'll do first is I know Rose has a Twitter account, and I see Jennifer has connected to. I'm not sure, Jennifer, if you have a Twitter account or not, but from your main Twitter screen, I'm just going to sign out, and just so you can get an idea of what your main Twitter screen looks like, and I'm just going to go back to the main Twitter interface. And this is your main Twitter screen. If you don't have a Twitter account, you can sign up right here. It's that easy. You put in your name, you put in an email address, you generate a password, you sign up, you follow the directions that are there, and it throws you right into Twitter. So this is your basic Twitter entry page, and I'm going to log into my public Twitter account, and I call it Learn East because it started after our Learn East conference. And I'll put in my password, and what will happen is my Twitter feed will load, and what you'll see here is you'll see the Twitter interface. Now, one of the things you'll notice too is Twitter recently started putting in advertisements. You'll see one on here right now for Powerade Canada. So when you look at your Twitter interface, there's a couple things here that are really interesting and that will be beneficial for your use if you want to use Twitter either as a professional learning tool or if you want to use it in your classroom. And along the top, what you'll see is a number of buttons. The first button on the upper left is a home screen. Then you'll see the @ symbol and the connect button. You'll see a discover button. You'll see me. You'll also see a search window. Then you'll see an envelope, and that envelope is for direct messages. So if I wanted to send a direct message back and forth to an individual that I didn't want anybody else to see, I could use that. And then you'll see a configuration button where you can go down and you can adjust your account. And you can play around with that later. Also moving along, what you'll be able to see is you'll be able to see your profile. So my profile here is Learn East. You'll be able to see the number of tweets that you've sent. So on this particular account, my public account, I've sent 366 tweets. I have 33 people that I'm following, and I have 143 people that are following my Twitter account. The other thing that I have is a compose window. And you may recall I mentioned that Twitter, you send messages that are 140 characters or less. And if I want to post a Twitter message, it's as easy as just typing in whatever I want to put there. And I can tweet it, and I can post it. No, I spelled session wrong. That's okay. It'll pop up there in just 1 second. So it shows that my tweet is posted. Because I spelled it wrong, I also have the ability to go in, and what I can do is I can delete it if I want. So that's how you compose a message very easily. One thing about composing a message that can add a significant amount of detail to your message is adding a photo. And you have the capacity to do that too. So if I was going to send a message, and let's say, for example, I had my students, I wanted them to take a look at a particular image or a picture of a mathematical concept. I could actually attach that, and it would appear directly under the tweet that I have. So back to this a little bit again. So you'll see in this account I've had 362 tweets, 33 following, and 143 followers. So if I click on the 143 followers, what it will do is it'll show all the people, and look, there's Rose right there, who are following this particular Twitter account. And like I said, there's 143 of them. And this account, anyone who wants to follow it can follow it. I'm going to go back to the home screen just for a minute. And we're going to talk about one of the most powerful features that you can have with the Twitter, and that's your search tool. And in this search window, let's say, for example, you generate yourself a Twitter account, and you're going to use it right off the bat, but you have nobody following you, or you're not sure how to use it. Well, in the search window, what I can do is I can search just about any topic. So I'm going to put in EdTech, just for the term educational technology, and I'm going to search it. And what's going to happen is that Twitter will search, and it'll give me some results with anything that is tagged EdTech. And you can scroll down, and you can read those messages that are related to EdTech. So I'm scrolling down, and look, there's one here from Intel Canada. I go down a little further, I see there's one there from Scott McLeod, and I see there's one from Edutopia. I look at that, it says new, the path to digital citizenship. No, that looks kind of cool. So what I can do is it has a link embedded in it. I can click on the link, and the link will take me directly to the website that talks about the path to digital citizenship. So as a teacher, what you're able to do is you're able to find resources that are on Twitter that may be of interest to you for your own professional learning, or may be of interest to you to use with your class. The other part that's really interesting about the search tool is I put in EdTech, and it searches specific results. The other thing I can do is if I'm trying to find out who I might want to follow on Twitter, if I still have the word EdTech in there that I search, and I click on people, what it will do now is Twitter will take me to a field, and or to a new screen, and the screen will show me a number of people who have EdTech somewhere in their profile name. And you can scroll down, and you can take a look at these people. And Alex Kuros in the second one, I follow him. Vicki Davis, I follow Vicki Davis. If I scroll down a little more, David Warlick, I follow David Warlick. And Gary Stager, I go down a little further, I follow him. Now, how did I decide to follow these people? Well, I saw their profile, and what I did was I clicked on their name. So Vicki Davis, and her handle for Twitter, her Twitter name is @CoolCatTeacher. And Vicki's quite well known in EdTech circles. And when I click on Vicki's name, what it does is it brings up a profile. Okay, and the profile under Vicki's name says, I love students, best teacher blog winner, @Flat Classroom co-founder, and so on. And then I look at a few of her tweets, and I'm kind of going, Vicki sounds kind of interesting. Or if I go to her full profile, it'll actually take me to a Twitter page, and I can see more information about Vicki, and I might say, yeah, you know what? Vicki's a person that I would like to follow. And all I have to do to follow Vicki is click on the follow button, and now I want to follow her. Now, the other thing Twitter does is it actually will make recommendations for you as to other people that you may be interested in following. And what you'll find is that you can very, very quickly build up a network of people that you have following. And in turn, you'll find out that some of those people will turn around and they'll follow you again. So that's the search tool, and that's how easy the search tool is to use. I'm just going to go back to the screen I was at a few minutes ago and talk one more thing about the search tool that's really cool as well. And it's something called hashtags. And if you look on this very first Twitter message, you'll notice there's a number sign, and it's got the word EdTech. And when we do the search for EdTech, it searched for anything with that hashtag. And a hashtag, think of it a way of labeling a tweet. So let's say, for example, I'm teaching a high school social studies class, and I'm doing current events, and I'm talking about the crisis in the Middle East. I'm talking about the civil war that's happening in Syria, and I decide that I want to take a look, and I want to see what I can find out with the hashtag on Syria. And you'll notice you get a number of things that come up. And as a teacher, if you want to use it as part of your lesson, you might want to scroll down, and you'll see something from maybe the BBC or from another news source that you might want to use or that you could potentially use in your classroom. The other thing that you can do too is you can use this with your students to critically evaluate what might be posted to determine whether it's real or not, because we know, some of the stuff that's posted on Twitter, you have to question, and you have to find other sources to determine if the information is legitimate or not. And you'll notice this is quite a popular feed, because just in the minute we've been talking about it, there's 18 new results that popped in related to Syria. So that's a key feature. Or if I want to do something, if I'm a teacher and I want to do something related to literacy, I can do a search for literacy using the hashtag literacy. So it brings up messages that anyone has posted about literacy. Or what I can do is I can also click on people, and as I mentioned a few minutes ago, it'll take you to a screen that shows people who have Twitter accounts or organizations that have Twitter accounts that you might want to follow as well. So Literacy Coalition NB, Literacy Bridge, the whole works. I mean, there's a wide range of resources that are available to you. The other thing that's really unique that I like about Twitter is the ability to ask questions. And you'll notice here, if I want to ask a question, I might say, looking for resources to teach Canadian geography. And I can just post that, and I'm not sure that I'll get a response right away, but I could post that. So the 143 followers that I have would be able to see that message, looking for resources to teach Canadian geography, and they could reply to it if they want. Now this is kind of neat too. This message just came on. George Street Middle School, who I'm following, are off to the League Conference in Halifax. So it's a great way for staying up to date for current events. A couple other things that I want to show you. This is very unique too. And down on this part of the screen is your trend line, or what's trending on Twitter. And you'll notice on Twitter today, NHL, Hockey Night in Canada, TVA, TSN are some of the big things that are trending today, because the NHL signed a big deal with Rogers Cable, which gives them exclusive, or Rogers Communications, which gives them now exclusive rights to NHL hockey. And CBC had to go in and purchase the rights from them for Hockey Night in Canada and so on. So that's trending, and you would expect hockey would be trending in Canada on Twitter. And so that's just an example of what the trend line is. A few more things I'm going to show you, and then we're going to be at the end of our 20 minutes when we will have an opportunity to answer questions. If you want to find out how I can use Twitter in my classroom, there's some great resources out there. And these are just 2 or 3 websites that I found very quickly by doing a search on, I'm using Twitter in the classroom. That's all I put in the search field. And right off the bat, very quickly, up came a website from the 21st Century Fluency Project that I really like, and it's 60 ways to use Twitter in the classroom by category. And you can scroll down to that, and you can actually see some ideas for how you can use Twitter. And I'll leave it to you to take a look at that website when you want to. Some of this is post-secondary related, but some of it is very applicable to a K-12 environment, especially if we scroll down to writing skills. It gives examples of how you can use Twitter for vocabulary building, how Twitter can improve writing and punctuation, daily word games, grammar review, and so on. And there's even a section on Twitter exercises that you can use. You can have your class do Twitter exercises, everything from news to assignments to making their own inspirational quotes of the day. So that's one area. And another area that let's me back here to my slideshow is 50 ways to use Twitter in the classroom from teachhub.com. Another real cool website, and it's going to load up here in a second. And it's got 50 ways to use Twitter in the classroom. And if you go down, you'll see 1 through 50. And it's very similar to what I just showed you on the 60 ways, but there's still 50 ways there. A lot of similarities, but some differences too. And the final one that is kind of cool as well. Going to go to the right one here. Is the 5-Minute Film Festival. And this is through edutopia.org. And what this is, it's real cool, is it's YouTube videos. And it's little YouTube videos, and you'll see there's one to tweet or not to tweet, Twitter search in plain English, Twitter for teachers, 4 great Twitter apps for teaching or using Twitter in the classroom, using Twitter to build a personal learning network. So what I suggest is you go there and you take a look too. And these will all come up if you do a quick Google search on Twitter in the classroom using Google. And the other thing too is this is kind of a cool slide. It talks about Bloom's taxonomy. in Twitter and how you can actually use Twitter to meet the correlates of Bloom's taxonomy. And again, this is something that is found very quickly on a search for Twitter in the classroom. And that brings us to the end. That was a real fast 20 minutes. I know I could talk for an hour about this. But again, what I'd recommend, set up a Twitter account, go to Google, do a search for Twitter in the classroom. You'll find a wide range of resources and ideas. For any questions that you have on Twitter, or if you're interested in using Twitter in the classroom and you're not quite sure what to do, contact one of the members of our technology lead team. We have 9 of us throughout the school district, and we're all willing and available to answer questions. Our email addresses are on the screen, and we'd be more than willing and happy to work with you on any type of project that you might have. Rose, how to create a hashtag. Oh, hashtag is really easy to create. So I'm going to open the mic for questions right now, so please feel free to ask any questions that you might have. I'm just going to go back to Twitter, and to create a hashtag is very easy, Rose. And an example would be Tech20 Tuesday. So if I'm going to put down this is, and I'm going to use the number sign, and I'm going to put Tech20 Tuesday in a space. So now what will happen is I've tweeted that, and that hashtag is now searchable. And just need to type in whatever, yeah. So I've used, this is Tech20 Tuesday, so Tech20 Tuesday is the hashtag. So if I put in the number sign in Tech20 Tuesday, and I do a search, there it is. This is Tech20 Tuesday. There's some other tags that we put on earlier related to Tech20 Tuesday. So anything I search is related to that. So if I'm a teacher and there's a specific tag that I wanted to use, yeah, I could use it just by including the number sign and whatever I wanted the hashtag to be called. And Waylon says just need to type in number sign, whatever. That's right. So any other questions from people? So students just need to know the hashtag to respond to your questions. Absolutely, Rose. That's exactly right. They would need to know the hashtag to respond to questions. Yeah. Any other questions from anybody? Okay, I would say feel free to go ahead and do the Google search on Twitter in the classroom. Use the search tool on Twitter, and you can find people to follow. You can find hashtags out. Jennifer LeBlanc's hand is raised. I wonder if Jennifer has a question for us too. If you could turn your mic on, Jennifer, or you could put your question in by text, or by text, yeah. Hi, Jennifer, can you hear us? Hi, Jennifer, can you hear us? Hello? Hi, how are you?
Hello?
Hi, how are you?
Hi, good. Now that I have my microphone working.
Okay, you had a question?
The links that you had that gave information on how to get started, is there a way that you can send those out, or how do we go about getting those websites?
You know what I'll do is I'll email them, right? I'll email that whole presentation right to you.
Oh, that would be perfect, thanks.
How does that sound?
Can I ask you one more quick question?
You go right ahead.
When we Google Twitter in the classroom, and is there things I should be worried about? I'm in grade 4, so is there things that would be inappropriate popping up, or advertisements that would be things like that I need to worry about?
Well, the first thing that I would do is if you're going to do something with your students, you want to make sure that your parents are aware. So your parent community knows the types of things that you're doing in the classroom. That would be the first thing. The second thing is you might want to set up, if you're doing with a grade 4 class, a private Twitter account, and then invite if it's going to be students that you're utilizing, and have them as part of it. So then you're in a bit of a closed environment, because when you have a public Twitter account, anybody and their dog can follow you. Now, Twitter's much better now at filtering who can follow you or not. A couple years back when it first started, there were some pretty nasty things that, like, I don't even know if they were individuals, whatever they were, that could be following you. So I would recommend going with a private account for that aspect.
Right. Now, can't be like as a class, so like if we came in the morning and wanted to, you know.
Yeah, you could call it that, grade 4, Mrs. LeBlanc or Miss LeBlanc, or whatever you want to call it, yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay,